What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol SOFI for SoFi Technologies. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. We talked about it just the other day. Regardless of what happened with the bank charter information, we know that the market conditions have been fairly rough for SoFi to get any sort of traction to the upside here. What was kind of promising was the fact that we had the hammer candle and obviously the consolidation up in, the area above the cup and handle we discussed yesterday, but the sort of, unfortunate news, I suppose, to bring today is the fact that we did explore underneath that level of support at 1262 and closed underneath it from a daily bar perspective. Now, it's not really significant enough yet, at least, to consider this level completely invalidated. So if we open up tomorrow and we're kind of here, then fine, I would start to look for more consolidation and then again, either break out or break down up and over 1355 or down and out underneath that 1262 we just pointed out. But if we open up underneath, it's really just going to start to confirm that this is now overhead supply. People who thought it may be U-turning here got it wrong, and maybe they start selling anyone who was trying to build a position in that area. Should at least take us for an equal low at 1190, and we know anything underneath that. There's really no structure underneath us. Sure, there's that 1030-ish mark, but there's no volume happening, if you were to look at that on the chart, right? If I do something like, I don't know, let's just grab the 2-year weekly, should show up. There we go. So like no volume back here, right? And technically the low is 1010. So keep that in mind as maybe like a last line in the sand, but I'm not really seeing any significant support underneath us if we break down underneath 1190. So again, a little bit of an unfortunate news to bring, especially after what looked like decent consolidation for a cup and handle. Market's going to do what market's going to do. So as of right now, it's kind of a patience play, right? It's either going to be in here and fine, consolidation continues, breakouts and breakdowns. It's either going to be an open underneath and we stay away. We're not really going to short this thing. If we come on over to the trade tab, what we'll notice, okay, I'm mistaken. I thought it was going to be a hard to borrow asset. I suppose not. So you can short the shares, and on something this cheap, I would probably opt to do that instead of looking to play options here. These aren't the worst thing in the world either, though, noting that we have 15,000 contracts and 10,000 contracts on the at and in the money strikes there, and the spread isn't horrible. It's not great, don't get me wrong. 41 by 45, something this cheap should only be about a cent wide, but it's also not like it's 20 cents or 20% of the value of the contract itself. So short is possible here inside of SoFi, and I would start to say anything underneath that 1190 is honestly starting to look fairly attractive for a downside opportunity. Again, not overstaying your welcome, but definitely just riding this into potentially new all-time lows and monitoring for whole and half dollar targets, right? So that's what I've gotten SoFi to the downside. To the upside, the break of 1355, nothing has really changed. We talked about the potential for targets here yesterday in that video. Maybe it starts to become a look below and fail on the range here. Target could be the top end around 16, but based on how we've closed today, I wouldn't say it's a likely possibility. It's definitely not like an oversized likely possibility, if that makes any sense. It's not like there's a skew of a 70% likelihood of that happening. I would say it's less than 40% at this point in time based on how we've closed and the structure that is unfolding along with what's going on in the broad market. So that's all I've got for you today inside of SoFi. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.